Hello, welcome to Ephemera Files by Tommy. And today, in the hashtag MMMJJC May Mystery Mayhem Junk Journal Challenge with Dear Julie Julie, I am making a pair of pockets. And what I need to use in making these pockets is a gift bag or a bag, lace, and words. This challenge is hosted by Dear Julie Julie, and I have all of her information listed below. I'm going to put these right up here. I did rearrange a little bit. I have a little bit more room to work, so hopefully this works. I have taken a couple of the papers that Julie has in her kits that have the three. It's like a triptych. And I have cut them along this line, and then I stacked them and I cut them across 3 times, and I got these pieces, and then I mixed them all up. And so these are going to become my pair of pockets. I also have this piece of paper that I printed. This is from Grungy Lace, I think, and I used the ink saver on it, so it printed fairly light. I am going to take a stencil and I'm going to cover the back of this just to give it some interest. Actually, what I may do, I still have the ink on this from when I did all the spraying. I may just spray that and lay it across there. I do realize that part of my image here will be covered, but I think it'll still be pretty. So I'm going to take my little mister bottle here, and I'm going to spray it, but I'm going to spray it over to the side because I don't want to get everything on my workstation wet. I'm actually not going to lay it all the way down because I don't have a piece of paper under it. And I don't have to clean it all off my desk, although I think I'm going to have to anyway. Yeah, I'm just going to do it because I need to press this down to make sure I've got good contact. Because I think it's going to be really pretty, I hope. If not, I've got another piece of paper. Oh, yeah, it's pretty. Look at that. Woo-wee! That's gorgeous. So I'm going to take a minute to dry it. So that's dry and everything is cleaned up, and I even like the way it leaked through the page because this is just plain old copy paper. It's not heavy at all, and so things tend to leak through, but I think that that's pretty. I think it's pretty. Okay, so here are my pieces for this side, and that goes together like that. And my pieces, let me put my water away. My pieces for this side go like that. And yes, they are taller than this page. They're going to overlap to become pockets. The ones that will have something in them, I want to put a thumb notch in. So I am going to get my envelope punch out. And I'm not measuring these. I don't care if it's in the center or not. I just want to make sure that it's in a place that makes sense. And when I say makes sense, I just mean by eyeballing it, what I think is going to look like the best placement for that thumb notch. I can't remember. I may even put a thumb notch in that top one. I will dry fit everything and then decide on that. All right, and I'm going to ink the edges of everything real quick. I think that I am actually going to use the aged mahogany because that seems to be the majority overwhelming, not overwhelming, but overriding color. Is that's not the right word, but it's the, I don't know, the color that'll just go. How about that? I think that works. And after I ink of them, I'm going to go ahead and place them on the page. I'm going to lose pretty much all of that. Do I want to do something differently so that I don't lose that? No, because I can always do that again. It's fine. It is really pretty though. I could put it on the other side. I mean, that's pretty too. But I think actually I'm going to do that. I'm going to put it on that side. I wonder if that would actually count for my lace. Probably not. I'm not going to push it. Okay, so that just fits. So I am not going to make that top one a pocket. It's just going to be there. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with the other side. All right, so that is all inked and arranged. So I need to make sure that I don't forget the gift bag, the lace, and the words. And I need to do those on the pockets. So let's see what I can figure out. I have this little one here, this little piece of the bag, the gift bag, that I cut off that I think I'm going to use in the very front of the journal. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that out. What can I do? What can I do with this? I could make, I could make a side ruffle to go on the page. I could go ahead and glue these down and then put the side ruffle on. Or I could put the side ruffle on and then glue them down. That might work better. I think I'll put a ruffle on each side. So if I cut through both layers, that'll give me 2 pieces of the fabric. I look like I cut myself. That's just ink. All right, and I am going to cut the ends off because of the seam. And I might be able to use those for tabs. So I am just going to put those back in the bag. Do I want to use this part? I don't know if I want to use this part right now. All right, and I'm going to get my glue out. And this is how I make page edge ruffles most of the time, is I will cut out a length that's just a little bit longer. It depends. It may be a lot longer than the edge that I am gluing. And I will glue that end and that end to the paper. And I'll let that set long enough that I'm not going to be wrestling with it. Goes pretty quickly. And then I go about the center of the page, put a spot of glue, and push about the center of the fabric in there. And then I keep going. I keep dividing it in half and putting half in the glue. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be a ruffle. And no two are going to come out the same because you're human. And since you're doing it this way, it's going to have, you know, It's going to have little wiggly spots. And the thing about using this is almost like a tulle kind of fabric, T-U-L-L-E. And so it's going to be so lightweight. And it's not going to add a lot of unnecessary bulk. And this page is shorter, so it's going to work really well with my fancy closure that I'm making. It's not going to peek out past the cover very much, but it will add interest when you look at the side of the book. And then I'm just going to do the same thing on this side. All right, so there's the fabric part of the ruffle. And since I have to use lace and words as well as the gift bag I should have said, that's the gift bag part of the ruffle. I am going to get some book page for my words, and I am going to pick out some lace real quick. All right, so I got some book page here, and I have some lace there. And so I am going to get my ruler, and I'm actually just going to tear a strip. And first I'm going to get rid of the white edge. And I think I want my strip to be about that big. I'll measure it and tell you how big it is. It's about a ½ inch. And I am going to kind of just fold a little bit until it's about the same length as the page is. I'm going to push it down so it crumples. Let's see. That needed to come back down a little bit. Just right there like that. And then I'm just going to take and put a string of glue, a line, a something. It doesn't have to be a lot. I'm going to take this over to the machine and sew it after all the glue is dried. And I'm just going to lay that over the edge of the fabric, but not over the edge of the background page. I could. For some reason, I just didn't want to this time. I'm going to give it a swipe of a little bit of ink, just to kind of accentuate the folds that are on it. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. And then I am going to just add a layer of lace right over the words. You'll be able to see the words, but even right now you really can't read much. I got this whole thing. This is 2 yards plus 32 inches, so almost 3 yards for 18 cents on one of my thrift store. This wasn't thrift store, this was flea market trips. Let's see, oh, that pin needs to go back in the glue. And this one I don't bunch up. I'm just going to lay it across there. And I'm going to kind of go out here so that my pockets aren't going to be too full. So I'm going to put a line of glue. I'm going to kind of mess up that end where I cut it just by pulling some of those threads out. I'm going to glue these down. I'm going to let them dry, and then I'm going to take them to my sewing machine and stitch them to the paper. So the glue dried. I sewed with a kind of an exaggerated zigzag stitch across my ruffle, page, and lace edge decoration. Started to put my pieces on and realized I should have put these on before I sewed. And it's kind of too late now to do anything about that. So what I'm going to have to do, though, in order for this to fit, is I am going to have to cut off just a little bit, unless I go over, but then I'm afraid I lose too much of the words and stuff. Yeah, I think I'm just going to cut off just a slight little bit, and I need to figure out how much that slight little bit's going to be, and it's probably going to have to happen on both sides. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and stack them up so that when I do cut it, it will all be the same slight little bit that I take off. All right, I'm going to get my paper cutter out, and I'm not going to be able to hold it up against either of these edges to keep it straight, so I'm going to have to just keep it straight with my hand. And I think, gosh, I wish I'd paid attention. It's almost always easier to do it right the first time instead of having to go back and refigure what you're doing, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do because you didn't do what you should have done. I think while I'm at it, I'm just gonna go ahead and get this one as well. So this is the outside and the outside, outside, and outside. So I'm gonna stack these up so it's a little bit easier to control. Put the widest one on the bottom and the narrowest one or ones on the top. Make sure I've got them all aligned straight. Get that lined up to where I need to take it off. And then hold down really, 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 really hard, and then push down really, really, really hard on the roller trimmer. And before you move your hand, make sure all of the things have been cut through so that you don't have to try to align it up again, because that almost never works. All right, so I'm going to ink the edges that I had to cut off real quick. All right, so now I'm going to glue the pockets on. I already have everything except for the pockets that were part of my requirements. So this is all I have left. And I'm not going to put anything in the pockets until I have completed. You know, I really didn't have to go through and ink those again because it's going to be covered up. Oh well. All right, so this one is getting glued down flat. And then the next one is this one. And I want to make sure that my thumb notch will actually be covered. Scoot that up just slightly because it wasn't quite lined up. I'm going to make sure that my thumb notch isn't gapping. I want to make sure that it covers up that edge there. So it's going to go up like that. And I just need to glue on these 3 edges. Okay, so there's that pocket. Same here. And then the final one, we'll go right down there. Just like that. All right, so there's one side. I'm going to do the same thing for this side. I must have gotten a little bit too much glue on the book page right there. Too far over, I mean. I'm just going to have to finagle this in there, which if you watch me very much, you know I finagle a lot because things don't always go according to plan. All right, so here's my pair of pockets using a gift bag or a bag, lace, and words. And there's a pocket and 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 a pocket. And it's lovely on this side as well as on this side. I'm happy with how that turned out. Thank you for joining me today. And as always, be kind. Bye.